Hey everybody, welcome to the Real United States, and it's time again for one of our episodes of On This Day, where this year we are celebrating, if you want to call it that, or remembering, in the case of today's episode, the events of 50 years ago in 1969, which, 50 years, half a century, in the normal lifespan of a human being is a big deal. It certainly is to me. So that's what this is. Now, today's is a rather solemn, somber, and sad anniversary, if you will. And that is the very, very famous Manson family murders, the first night of murders, when actress Sharon Tate and, of course, heiress to the Folger heir, to their empire, if you will, Abigail Folger, and others were murdered at the home of Sharon Tate and her husband, Roman Polanski. That's who she was married to. Who was a director. For those of you who don't know, he's a very famous director. And I'm not going to go into all the details about it. It's one of those historical events which is probably being very well publicized and researched by everyone right now, and there's nothing new that I can add to the research data. But I can put it in perspective. Again, I want to put the year 1969 into perspective. All right, this is, 2-3 weeks, after the Apollo moon landing, okay? One of the most triumphant moments in human history, certainly in American history. We put a man on the moon, to quote the song title. And, this was a hugely powerful moment. And here we are just a couple of weeks later with what is, up to that point, one of the most horrific acts of homicide and I don't want to say this, horrific, in terms of the number of people killed, because certainly there was a lot more horrific homicides in American history. But in terms of notoriety and notable people, celebrities, and celebrity types being involved, I think this is probably up to that date the biggest one, most publicized. That doesn't make it any better or worse than any other one, so please don't start chewing my butt in the comments about, well, what about this and that and the other. Okay, I'm just saying that it was a huge thing at the time. Certainly, it was something that struck everyone, just horrified them. The following day, incidentally, the Manson family struck again, killing another elderly couple. La Bianca, I believe, was their name. Again, this is not a history lesson on what happened, but it was just like we went from the top of the world to, oh my God, the world is ending in 2.5 weeks. That's how quick life changed in 1960, in the summer of 1969. Like, what the hell happened? We were just on top of the world. Now we got some crazy out, crazies in this case, killing people. It was, and especially for a little boy who's not quite 10 years old, trying to get his mind around this, it was just very, very stressful and very, very, hard to understand. What the hell is going on? And like I say, celebrities don't normally get whacked. Not in my day, maybe in more recent history they have, but I mean, this was not something that was very common. This was almost unheard of. Celebrities lived this very privileged lifestyle that was usually very well protected. And, as a matter of fact, in my memory, just without doing any research, just in my memory, it would be another 9 years. It would be another 9 years before a celebrity that I was familiar with was murdered, and that would be Bob Crane in 1978, who was beaten to death. Hogan's Heroes. I was a big fan of the show when I was a kid. It was funny, I liked it, and so it was. This was a very the Sharon Tate and Folger and everybody being murdered was just like, what? This doesn't happen. It was just not something. And I don't think that even though I was a little boy, that I was alone in this sentiment. Everybody was stunned, not just shocked, but stunned. How could this happen in America? And in retrospect, we all know how it could happen. There was people who were who banded together and then just snuck into town and murdered people for an agenda that they never could. They were trying to create basically an internal civil war, and it never materialized. And I believe that Charles Manson is still alive and still in prison, but I think he's a very old man now, but he is still alive. The interesting thing, is that he's never going to see the light of day, but that's probably in his best interest, because there's many wackadoodles in society today as there was then, and if they walked into the gate and opened it up and let him out, one of them would be there waiting for him, and not with a smile on their face. So it's a very strange situation. But anyway, that is how quickly things changed in the summer of 1969. Just a bizarre time to be alive. Great time to be alive, I say. But so if you've been following this, Nixon being sworn into office, the Apollo missions, the Manson family murders. It was just a wild ride. And I'm not touching on everything that happened that summer. I'm just occasionally trying to take one of these dates and share it with you. Like, I'm not going to do another one tomorrow about Manson family killing the LaBianca family. I think that'd be overkill. But there was just so many things that will forever be in the history books of young people across the country. That, like I say, if you're close to my age, even you probably remember. Just a wild time. The big displays that you saw here in Washington D.C. The tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of humans rallying or protesting, the war in Vietnam, things like that. Just a wild time to be alive. But anyway, that's what happened 50 years ago today here in the United States. And a little perspective about it, about the roller coaster ride that was, well, my life at least, and probably most everybody else who was alive at the time. So thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this. You got questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I love hearing from all of you. And if you're new here, well, thanks for joining us. Please consider clicking subscribe to come along for the adventure, because we got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, thank you for watching.